Hello everyone, welcome to your history class. As you know, you will be taking online classes. In this session, we will make a review about the Porfiriato. I would like to start this video by sharing with you guys a comic. I hope you enjoy it. Porfirio Diaz came to the power on November 28, 1867. He built almost 20,000 kilometers of railways during the Diaz government. Mexico achieved an important economic development. But the working class never saw an improvement in their quality of life. On November 20, 1910, the Mexican Revolution began in charge of Madero. The first topic that we will see is how Benito Juárez led the destiny of the nation. His most important aspects were to pacify the territory, to reactive the commerce, to help the agriculture, to continue selling the properties of church, and to promote public education. In 1871, Juárez decided to be re-elected, but the figure of Porfirio Diaz appeared against him with Plan de la Noria. But he was controlled. Suddenly, Juárez died of a heart attack. Remember, Plan de la Noria was a plan that Porfirio Diaz created to prevent that Benito Juárez was re-elected. But at the same time, Benito Juárez suddenly died of a heart attack. So, Sebastián Lerdo de Tejada was the president of the Supreme Court. Therefore, he took the presidency of Mexico for the next period, that was 1872 to 1876. The same that Benito Juárez, Lerdo de Tejada was re-elected, and again Porfirio Diaz was against him, now with the Plan de Tuxtepec. Remember, Plan de Tuxtepec was a plan created by Porfirio Diaz to weaken the government or the power that Sebastián Lerdo de Tejada had. So, with this plan, Porfirio Diaz took the power for the next 30 years. Porfirio Diaz promulgated the Plan of Tuxtepec against Sebastián Lerdo de Tejada. After his victory, he won the elections, and he was the president for the first time in the years 1877 through 1880. As you remember, he refused the re-election at the beginning when he wasn't the president, and to consider this principle, after he finished his first period in the government, he imposed to his very close friend Manuel González as the next president for the period 1880 to 1884. Porfirio Diaz followed the motto of the positivism: peace, order, and progress. Not everything was wrong during this dictatorship. For example, the country had economic stability and growing. Other important advance was the cablegram. By 1851, there were only 2 offices in the country. However, in 1910, there were 520 that sent 5 million of messages. In 1873, the railroad was installed, joining the cities of Mexico and Veracruz. Later, the web was extended for all the country until counting 20,000 kilometers. During the Porfirians, we had foreign capital, economical growing, but not social development. the positivism as philosophy, terrible conditions for workers and farmers, the political opposition, the agrarian situation, and the scientifics. By 1906, the workers started to rebel against the labor conditions and by the increasing of wages. The workers of Orizaba, Veracruz got organized, forming the union, the Great Circle of Free Workers. Two important strikes show us the situation in Mexico for that time. One is the strike of Cananea Sonora in 1906, and the second one is the strike of Rio Blanco, Veracruz, 1907. Between 1908 and 1910, the social crisis increased for all the country. The Flores Magón brothers were two journalists that started to rebel against Porfirio Diaz. Francisco y Madero was other political leader who wanted change in the country. He was a middle-class man born in Coahuila and began his campaign visiting several cities of our country. However, Porfirio Diaz sent him to jail, but Madero escaped and went to the United States, where the Plan de San Luis was created and promulgated, inviting the society to start the Mexican Revolution in November 20, 1910. Porfirio Diaz declined as president in 1911, and new elections were realized. Madero won and was the president until 1933 because he was betrayed by militarism of Porfirio Diaz and a U.S. sponsor. Francisco Villa and Emiliano Zapata were two important leaders of all the people. Both were looking for better working conditions for all the workers. As you could see, the three periods of the Porfiriato was for peace. In this period, we had order and progress. The second one was consolidation, economic growth, and the railroads grew too. And the third one was fall. People were discontent and the economy lowered. In this class, you will write 10 notes about the most important information of the Porfiriato. You will write them on your notebook. Make sure you include the name, the title, and the date. Don't forget to check your platform and do your homework. Remember that you need to send the activity through your platform. I will be answering questions and any doubts from 8 to 2. Make sure you submit your activity before 3 p.m., okay? In order to get your complete grade.